And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome back multiple Anthony-nominated author Ed Ayar, E.A. Ayar, here to give us the inside scoop on his brand new book out tomorrow, When She Left. Ed, welcome back to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. I thought before I get into that, I thought we agreed you were gonna go by Mr. Amar. It just seems so informal.
I'm going by Monsieur Ayar, Senor Ayar.
That is classy. Senor Amar would be fantastic.
Yes,
Would make my
that's
mom
right.
really proud. Oh yeah, the book. I should talk about the book. When
Tell
She
us.
Left. So it is the story of two young lovers, which I'm going to replace with a young couple who are on the run from a criminal organization because the woman in the couple has left her boyfriend, who is in charge of the organization, and they are being pursued by a reluctant hitman slash realtor named Lucky Wilson. And hijinks ensue. I kind of want to keep talking because I want you to have to keep holding the book up, and I want to see how long you can do it.
I can hold it for a very long time. I've strengthened these book holding muscles over the past 4 years. So
You
chat
have,
away.
yeah, you have like just weird, naturally defined, like whatever this muscle is.
Yeah, extensor longi.
That's it, tip of my tongue.
That is the muscle. So Ed, I cannot wait to get into every detail of this because I have a lot of questions and I am going to need you to spill the tea, sing like a canary, tell us all your secrets, what happens on Mystery and Thriller Mavens, stays on Mystery and Thriller Mavens. But first, I just want to welcome everyone. We are broadcasting live to 6 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So, hey, mystery and thriller loving friends, no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday. And because Mondays can be murder, we're going to make them a little less painful and get your week off to a killer start. So if you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome, friends. We're so happy to have you. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Ed about this reluctant hitman and real estate agent Lucky. Ask him about the young lovers. Ask him about this crazy book-long chase. We have a lot to talk about. The mother figure. Oh, my goodness. We're going to get down into it. So just get your questions going in the comments. I'll get them right over to them. Renee, joining us from Facebook, says, hi, Sara and EA from wet Southeast Florida. Hi, Renee. I hope your day gets sunnier soon. She says, you are very funny, EA.
Finally, I told you, Sarah. I told you. You kept saying you're not, and yeah, and also my wife, who's maybe she's watching. I told you too.
I told you I was funny.
Yeah.
That's why we welcome him back as often as he wants to come on here because Ed keeps us laughing. It's my ab workout for the week. Robin joining us from Facebook as well, saying hello, Sara and Ed from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I hope I'm saying that right, Robin. So good to see you pop up. And let's get right into the questions. Okay, Renee has one. Ed, how the heck did you come up with your characters' names?
You were saying that right, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Idaho. Yes. Very good. So the characters' names. I like to really. This is going to sound like I'm starting a bit, and I'm not. I like to put a lot of thought in the characters' names. They really have to have some type of importance. I've always, when I started writing and started really taking writing seriously, I studied a lot of canonical canon literature, and it was at that point you're analyzing like every sentence and every word and why it's there, so that kind of stuck with me. And I after that, it just, my names had either some kind of mythical or biblical reference or something like that. The only problem is, after I come up with the names, like a few months later, I promptly forget why I picked it. So then it's a mystery to me too.
Well, let's get into it. So first of all, you have Melissa Cruz. So why Melissa? What's the set? What? First of all, I like that you put a lot of thought into it because the name says so much, right? Like it says subconsciously a lot to us, and now we know that it has even more meaning to you. So let's start with Melissa Cruz. What is the meaning of Melissa to you?
So for me, there's a character later in the book who is, and a character actually in a
No
past.
spoilers. Remember, they get very upset about spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, no, not at all. But who is sort of representative of Medusa, and I like that Melissa had a connotation to that, and they have some other things in common, even though they're wildly different. But that's sort of, I believe that's where Melissa came from, or it's my
Oh,
cousin Melissa. But
is she Medusa-like?
let's go with the loftier first answer.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, what about Lucky Wilson? Is he unlucky and that's why you named him Lucky? Why Lucky?
That name just came to me. It was when I was writing him, and was trying to think of his name, and Lucky just seemed to make sense. There's something too in that his father named him, and he makes a reference to that, but his father always called him Lucky. Um, and there was a sense with Lucky that he doesn't quite, he's I think in some ways very removed from himself and situations, and the idea that he has a first name and instead goes by this nickname, and you don't know the first name and maybe get the sense that he doesn't either, seemed to me a kind of telling feature of his character.
Ooh, interesting, interesting. Okay, because it's also funny that he is is a realtor and he's funny. Like, so we the first time we see Lucky, he's showing a house. The house is not the most sellable house. And there's this nosy neighbor who's commentating everything that's wrong with the house as he's trying to sell it to this couple. And you are just sweating, but also laughing because he's thinking these murderous thoughts. So how did you come up with this? I mean, a reluctant hitman is already so funny, but he is also he's a funny guy for a
Yeah, yeah.
hitman.
This book felt, well, there's two things about that. The first is, it was tough with Lucky because the reluctant hitman who is sort of with a comic element, is a fairly common trope, right? You've seen it in movies, you've seen it in TV shows.
I have
Uh,
not.
yeah, Tony
Maybe I live under a
Soprano's
rock.
Crisis of
Hmm.
Conscious, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But with Lucky, I wanted him to be separate from that, and I wanted him to have I what I really wanted for him was something genuine and authentic. It couldn't just be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. This is my last job. I wanted it to be something else. So for Lucky, there's this devotion to his family, and it comes out in, I there's nothing artificial about that, and it comes out in kind of his sort of cartoonish love of Christmas and Christmas villages. Lucky doesn't realize it, but the sense of a Christmas village, it's like an idyllic place, but it's something he can control. And for Lucky, trying to control these two elements, his domestic life and his hitman life, are things that are overwhelming him.
Well, it's kind of funny because I know someone else who likes Christmas. His name is E.A. Edmar, Amar, who
Yeah.
has a blow up Santa dinosaur in his yard. So I was starting to wonder if there were more than one. There were more than one commonalities to this character. Robin is saying reluctant hitman is quite funny. Throw in a realtor too. Oh my, indeed. Oh, we have author Elmar in the has just joined the
Ah,
she says that hi Elmar. Elle has been on Mystery Thriller Maven several times for her fabulous book. She says she loves the name Lucky for a character. High praise, Elmar.
oh, that's great. And Elle is awesome. I met her. I think we met for the first time this year at BoucherCon, and she's super cool and really charming in person. It's a little annoying because she's also a fantastic writer, and she shouldn't have all three of those traits.
Well, we'll see how you feel about her when her lead character in her next book turns up as Lucky. And we'll circle back to this conversation. Renee saying you can tell your wife that we think you're funny, Ed.
Yeah.
You have successfully passed the test. And she wants to know, Ed, where do you live? You're broadcasting from an undisclosed location. Where are you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just outside DC. So I live in Virginia, but I'm 15 minutes outside the city, and I've been in this area, the DMV, for I don't know, since 1990, sometime around then. And it's great. I love. I have a love-hate relationship with living here.
Hmm.
It's very cool to be close to where everything that happens. Um, in some ways, it's bad. Sometimes the news is really cool. Sometimes people invade the Capitol. You love it or hate it.
That is that was one of the scariest days of my life. Oh my goodness, we have Carrie Calvert joining us from YouTube. Hi, Carrie. He says he wants to know, Ed, are you
Aw.
creating a No Home for Killers universe with the release of When She Left? And will we see more of the Winters?
Thank you. Yeah, no, there's a character in A Home for Killers who comes into play in this, and I think with the four novels that I have out, they're in sort of a wide connected universe that only I know. And I think only I really like care about and pay attention to. And it's not meant for, I think, people generally to like see the associations, but one character's apartment in my first book featured in the second book and explained that character's sort of fate. In this book, character comes from No Home for Killers into When She Left, and that's sort of prominent. But there's, I love the idea of this big shared universe that it sort of grounds me. I think, as a writer, it gives me like a sense of place to go into. But I feel like When She Left in some ways is a bit of a departure, because I it No Home for Killers was a bit more of a violent book, and I don't see this as a violent book.
Hmm.
People
Did you
tell me
pull
that I'm
back
wrong.
on the did you pull back on the violence with intention? Were you like, "Ooh, that was too much for me, too much for readers." Why'd you pull back on the violence?
There wasn't, a commercial reason for it. It was more of like a personal one. It seemed like I
Interesting.
think I've said what I want to say about violence. When I first started writing, it was important for me to write about violence. And to write about it in a way that I thought was different than other writers were doing so, especially male writers. But now I feel like I've said what I want to say, and I tend to write. I think now when people ask what I write about, it's relationships, but through a crime fiction prism, like relationships, but with some stabbing.
That's my kind of relationship. We have Cell joining us from Melbourne, Australia. Good day, welcome. Renee saying thank you. Of course, Renee, we're so happy to have you. Elmar says, "Don't out my plans, Sarah," but that's what I do. El, I out people's plans. I think I think you outed yourself by your complimenting on the lucky name. Ed, I want to talk about some of the praise that this book is sort of earning. But first, I also want to talk about what you meant by male writers writing about violence. Tell me a little more about that.
So my
Are you talking about the female hit woman in the last book, or what do you mean by that?
yeah, I would love to write it. Let me clarify something. I love violence, and by that I mean I love entertainment violence. I grew up watching professional wrestling. I was one of the people, sobbing and cheering during the Avengers Endgame movie. I would love to write a scene like the finale there. That I got goosebumps from that. I'm getting them right now. I don't want to hold my hairy arm, but they're there. The but the thing is, when it comes to my violence, writing about it, I can't quite do it. The to that effect. It's too dark for me. In my violence, in my books, I want both characters, regardless of who wins, to be scarred by it, because for me, violence has been a defining moment in my life whenever it's occurred. That's
Mm,
my
yes,
life seems like it's split in those chapters of like, oh, this happened or this
yes,
happened.
yes.
um and it's tough. It's like, uh one thing, and the real reason for that is because when my kid was, and I haven't started share I share the story more now than I used to, but I think it's an important one to share. When my
Mm,
kid was in daycare, a bullet went through his window, and and then we found out
wow.
multiple shots were fired at the school. And
Yikes.
after that, the romance, kind of the adolescent romance of guns went away.
Mm,
The idea of retribution sort of faded, and I
mm.
violence to me became sort of an ugly thing. And that wasn't something, even the writers, and I think a lot of men sort of embrace the concept of violence. If you ever seen a lot of male writers at a crime fiction conference talking about guns, you'll never see people more rapturous or happy. And that's not me. I don't have that relationship with it. For me, it's not something that's positive, and I wanted to convey that. Even if the bad guys get theirs, it's not a glorious moment.
Ed, thank you for sharing that very sobering and very powerful moment. And it actually is interesting because the next thing I wanted to talk about was the praise that one of my favorite writers and people, Alma Katsu, shared about
Oh
your
yeah.
book. Alma's been on a couple times for her fabulous books. But the reason why this was such a perfect segue, I'm going to pop hers up so we can all look at it, is because Alma, who spent her career in the CIA, and now writes about a female CIA agent, was saying that the number one thing that male writers get wrong about writing about agents is these huge blow them up scenes, these chasing through the exotic market in Marrakesh where, things are exploding and carts are getting pushed over and whatever. And she said, let me tell you something. If you do it right, they'll never know you were there. And so this is what she had to say about your book. And I think that it ties in perfectly to what we're saying about violence. She said, when she left keeps you guessing with breakneck pacing and unexpected twists. But what truly stands out are the characters, quirky and flawed, but endearing as hell. But be warned, in an E.A. Amar novel, no character is safe ever. That, of course, is from Alma Katsu, award-winning author of The Hunger and Red Widow and Red London and many more fabulous books. So let's talk about these characters, because it sounds like, what you just said, that you don't write about violence, and Alma saying violence is only if you're doing it right as a CIA agent, it shouldn't be violent. They should never even know you were there, and praising your ability to render characters quirky and flawed but endearing. Tell us about the process of rendering those characters.
It's just a lot of drafts, right? I mean, you know this as a writer, and
Well,
any
how many?
writer
We
out
need
there.
to know exactly how many.
I actually don't keep track, but that's because I don't write like a whole novel and consider that a draft. What I do is I'll rewrite a chapter like 8 or 9 times and move on to the next one. So probably like, I don't know, a zillion maybe, but it takes a long time. With the characters, this book to me, when she left, every book feels like a better book than the last for me, which I feel objectively is true, and it's a good thing because I know writers who don't always feel that way, but I feel like I won't be happy if it's not a better book, if I don't feel it's a better book. But the other thing is that this every book feels personal, but this one more so because the characters really kind of came from me more than I feel other books. Sometimes I write about people I don't know, but in this book, I wrote everybody had a side um, that was really reflective of me. Whether it was Lucky and
Ooh.
his Christmas thing, or really his devotion to his family, and his fear they would leave him. Because I'm in constant fear my family's going to dump me. They're close. They're close. They're like that, but I'm hanging on, man.
Yeah, you're
I'm that
skating on
kid.
that you're
I'm that kid in
skating
the
on that
coaster.
thin, thin ice. Do you like how I noticed the Christmas thing, that was you? I was like,
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
that's the thing, is that when you know someone well or fairly well, you can be like, "Oh, there they are. There they are. There's his love of Christmas. Oh, there's his cousin Melissa." Like, you can pick those things out even in fiction. I absolutely love that. Okay, Robin saying, speaking of being so close to DC, I'm showing my age when I say being close to a major hit zone when and if the nukes start flying is my preference. Yes, those duck and cover drills in elementary school and way too many espionage books make me want to be at ground zero. Blip, and it is over. Interesting perspective, Robin.
Yeah,
Car-
I find that for me, we live, a little outside DC, so I I just imagine, waiting out comfortably a nice nuclear winter.
Carrie saying you write it violent so well. High praise from Carrie. He
Yeah,
reads so broadly and so deeply in the genre and outside of it. It's such a pleasure to see your thoughts, Carrie.
yeah, absolutely.
Renee wants to know, when did you think you wanted to become a professional novelist?
Oh, I know exactly. It was 90 it was 97. I can't do the cough thing again. When I graduated college, and I started to, at that point, I started working full time, and I realized like this can't just be my life. I'm not fulfilled in it. And I'd failed out of college and got back in under the decree that I would not resume my major of psychology. So I switched to English, and I had amazing classes. And they really informed me as a writer. And, it was always something that I did and something I enjoyed, but never something I took seriously. And at that point, I started to take it seriously. I'd had such good teachers that Alan Chuse, who passed away a few years ago, but was the book critic on NPR. Some others who were Susan Shreve, Richard Goodwin. There were others who were great, but that's what did it. And then I started to take my own writing seriously. I started
Mm.
writing every day, and for me, that's what that meant. It doesn't not everybody needs to do that, but I do. If I don't write every day, it feels like the muscles getting flabby, like not going to the gym. Although I don't do that either.
I was like, wait, do you exercise every
No,
day?
no,
Oh
I
my God, I love it. All right, y'all. I want to remind you that the book is not even out yet. Ed is coming on to very exclusively share the inside scoop and take all of your most pressing questions. It drops tomorrow. So here is the link, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, here is that link to pre-order now. And the good folks at our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, that is, of course, Murder by the Book, will ship this to you tomorrow morning when the book drops. So here is that link on YouTube, and here it is on Facebook. So click and pre-order and support woman-owned independent bookstores.
Yay, thank you.
Ed, I want to talk about some more. What's that? You're so welcome. I want to talk more about some of this praise. So let's hop over to Book List. They say Ed Amar's third book is instantly cinematic. I also noticed the buzz. I could picture, they talk about your opening scene. I'm going to pop this up so we can all read it together. They talk about opening with a skittish pair seated in a diner. I could see that diner. I could smell the burnt coffee. I could see them sitting there worrying about everybody who comes in. I'm going to pop this down because it's over our faces, worrying if that's a hitman from Melissa's ex-boyfriend's crime family coming to get them and bring them back. And then her boyfriend, taking pictures, and she's like, get in the car, which is what I would be thinking. Maybe just me. Anyway, Booklist likening it to saying this will appeal to fans of Elmore Leonard's and Jeff Lindsay's books and the Quentin Tarantino film Reservoir Dogs, with high stakes violence tempered by humor and disarmingly sympathetic anti-heroes. Do you think did you write these folks as anti-heroes?
I thought you were going to say, "Did you write this for Booklist?" Like, no, man.
And this is the EA Amar reviews. EA Amar gives himself 5 big cat cars.
Also, so handsome. No, I didn't do that with. I have. Lucky Wilson is definitely an anti-hero, and a couple of characters in the book probably are as well. But the two, not main characters, but two of the main characters, Jake and Melissa, the young couple on the run, they're not. I wanted to write a character. I wanted to write. Usually, I do anti-heroes, and they're all and all of my characters can sort of be argued that way. But I didn't want that for them. It was important for me to write a book that had love in it. And that's what I talked about with Lucky and his family, but also Jake and Melissa. I didn't want that to be tarnished. I wanted them to have a real genuine relationship, and that they sort of have to have that to, to motivate Melissa to leave her dangerous boyfriend.
Ed, let's talk about this title. Renee wants to know, was this always the title? Did you come up with it, or did someone else? So when she left, give us the scoop.
I came up with the title, and I'm not sure how. I think it just came to me because it had a different title originally.
What was the
And
original title?
oh my gosh, I cannot remember. It was something that wasn't as good. I don't remember. Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. It's going to come to me, and I'll text you later tonight, and then I'm just going to put it all over Facebook.
Wait, you got to put it out for everybody. You got to put it out on social media. Ed, you have to think, okay, so you got to share it with us, because now we all need to know. Now you're teasing us, so now we need to know.
The title, the original title had more of a, like No Home for Killers reflected sort of a violent book, just by the title. This book also had a more violent title, and after talking with my editor, I decided, it's better to go this route, because I want it to be different. I don't want people to look at it and think this is going to be a murder, murder, kill, kill book.
Okay, everybody follow Ed on Instagram and he will post it in his stories.
Yes.
Here's
Yeah.
his link. It's very mysterious. It's EA Amar.
Yeah.
That's his code name. So later tonight or whenever he remembers it, he will post in his stories what the original title of When She Left was. But getting back to Renee's question, she says at 3 a.m. you'll remember.
Yeah.
But so you were already writing it when this current title came to you.
No, it was done at that
Oh,
point.
it's done. Oh, you
Yeah,
wrote
yeah,
it you wrote it under the old title.
exactly. And then I changed it when I think it was like maybe before the cover. It was really far along the process.
Oh my goodness, we have legendary literary agent Michelle Richter has just
Aw.
joined the chat. She wants to know, was this
Yes!
one Sunset Heroes?
That was it. That was it. It was Sunset Heroes. Yeah, thank you. That's
Oh
my
wait, that's the
Michelle.
name?
That was the name. Yeah. I guess it wasn't a very murdery title, but it didn't make any sense. I just liked the term, and then I had some allusions to the idea of sunset and heroes and the combination of the book and what it meant as these sort of dying heroes. Right.
Wait, is Michelle your agent, Ed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. Okay, so she has now cemented your relationship forever because she remembers everything you forget.
Yes.
Hold on. Michelle Richter, 10 points.
She's
EA
so good.
Amar, 0 points. Robin is laughing at me saying your code name is EA Amar. Yes,
Yeah,
he's very
yeah.
mysterious. He's a man of mystery. That's his title. That's his handle on all the platforms. Shion, welcome, or maybe that may be Sean. In Irish, I'm not sure. I'm saying I am so excited for this to arrive at my door tomorrow. Still emotionally recovering from No Home for Killers, but I can't wait. Oh yay! Thank you so much, Sean.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
Yay! Do you think that people will be emotionally recovering from this one, Ed?
I hope so. I hope so because the ending got me. And typically I try to write like an ending that has, that has some resonance. I said this before, and I try to write in a way, and this isn't nobody likes this analogy, especially Michelle, but I try to write like fast food. I want you to get my book. I want you to devour it. I want you to just be,
like fries. You just like yum, yum,
just
yum,
eating
yum.
and eating and eating. I want you to turn those pages. And then after, I want you to feel a little bit of like regret, maybe like, oh, this is sitting with me in an uncomfortable way. And that's what I want my book to do. I want it to I want you to love it. And then afterwards, I want you to be kind of like, I'm thinking about that now. And there is a lot to that. And then I want you to come back for more, just like fast food.
Just like fresh. I mean, I love French fries. I'm not going to lie. I like the fast food analogy, Ed. I haven't thought of that before. Y'all, I want to remind you that the book is not even out yet. Ed is coming on to give us an exclusive sneak peek and take all of your most pressing questions. So again, you want to get your pre-orders in today. Here again is that link on Facebook and YouTube. So be sure to pre-order now. And I also want to talk about this fabulous bit of praise from Kate Houlihan. She is the USA Today bestselling author of The Darkness of Others. She says, this is an action-packed stories with well-drawn characters that will, no surprise, make you laugh because it is E.A. Amar. He's making us laugh already. And keep you turning the pages. So you have succeeded with your fast food dreams, Ed. You've manifested it. And here Kate is turning those pages like she's devouring fries. Absolutely love it. She's not the only one. Jess Lowry, Edgar nominated and actually award-winning author, also weighing in with this bit of praise, saying, seconding the Elmore Leonard likeness and saying it's perfect for fans of Elmore Leonard. It's darkly funny and packed full of richly drawn characters and gasp out loud twists, and the writing is gorgeous. Get your copy now. I love that she talked about your prose because there were those beautiful moments.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wendy Corsi Staub also weighing in, I could go on and on, saying that you deftly propel the unconventional I lost my place. They definitely propel the unconventional cast along an adrenaline jolting narrative to a gratifying finale. This is crime fiction at its finest. And of course, I can't help but mention this praise from one of my very favorites, Tracy Clark. She is the author of The Cass Reigns. Hold on, I'm going to pop this up so we can all read it together. I just love everything that Tracy writes, and I had to get to her too. She says, "What a churning cauldron of intrigue and human complication. Love, loathing, and lives abound. A real page turner. Ayar bats 1,000 with When She Left." Amazing bit of praise there. She is the Harriet Foster and Cass Reigns series author. I could go on and on. I'm going to put all of the praise here in the chat so that everybody can read it at their leisure. But y'all be sure to pre-order today. Yay, Renee saying thank you so much for brightening her day with this conversation. And she wants to know, she says, I will definitely be ordering When She Left. And she wants to know, Ed, are you doing in-person events on this book tour?
I don't think so. I'm not. I'm going to a couple of festivals. I'll be at the Annapolis Book Festival, the Tucson Book Festival. I'll be at some others, but most of my events are virtual. I have a launch event tomorrow night with Lynn Lau Butler, who I love, and we have actually books coming out the same day from the same editor. So that we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow night, I think. And then I don't know. Lynn. I'm going to have to do a lot of work. I love Lynn as a writer, but as a person, she's
I mean, you could just
so much.
She's so bendy, her yoga, her weird yoga bendiness, yoga freaks.
You know how they are.
Yeah, I know how they are. Lynn is coming back on the show next week, y'all. So join us for another interview with Lynn. Renee is giving you love and clapping for you. John, welcome to the conversation from Northeast Ohio. Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all, we are out of time. Time flies when you are having fun.
I thought you said we had an hour and a half.
I said we had 3 hours, but I'm cutting it short because you're boring me.
I understand. I get that.
I want to give a shout out to Kendra, to Katie, to Robin R, to Jay, to Janelle, to Norma, to Susan, to Lynn Nelg, to everybody who's watching. Brandon, thanks for tuning in. It has been such a pleasure sharing a murderous afternoon with all of you. I hope you have a killer rest of your day. Oh, last question for Robin. Are you coming to Lefty Coast Crime in Seattle, Ed?
Oh, yeah. That's where I'm going, too. Left Coast Crime.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Robin, sounds like you're going to be there too. Be sure to meet Ed in person.
Absolutely.
Get him to sign your book and have him sign something, that makes him a little uncomfortable. Have him sign it to, his muse, his best friend, Robin. And, he'll never tell your secrets. Have him say something truly scandalous. That's my favorite.
I thought you were talking about a body part. Have him sign something that makes him uncomfortable. I was like, like I said, I'm barely hanging on to my family, man. Barely.
Yeah, you got to hold on tight. Well, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. That is a wrap for us. Y'all get your hands on When She Left. Ayar, thank you so much for coming on, and we will look forward to having you back for your next book.
Thank you, Sarah, and thanks for everything you do for writers. You're awesome. It's amazing that such a good writer does so much for other people. Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, that's so lovely, Ed. Thank you so much. Oh, wait a minute. Michelle says, bring a red shoe. We're going to need that backstory. Sean saying, thank you so much. Thank you all. And we're going to get the story of that red shoe next time Ed is back.